I am Sunny Starblast. I am a variety street.
Oh, hey. Oh, no. Oh, no.
Oh! Oh no!
Oh, hey. Oh, no. Oh, no.
I am Sunny Starblast. I am a variety street.
Go, go, go. Do it live. Go, go, go. Do it live. Go, go, go. Do it live. Fucking thing. Do it live. Go, go, go. Do it live. Go, go, go. Do it live. Go, go, go. Do it live. Fucking thing. Do it live. Go, go, go. Do it live. Go, go, go. Do it live. Go, go, go. Do it live. Fucking thing. Do it live. Go, go, go. Do it live. Go, go, go. Do it live. Go, go, go. Do it live. Fucking thing. Do it live. Go, go, go. Do it live. Go, go, go. Do it live. Go, go, go. Do it live. Fucking thing. Do it live. Go, go, go. Do it live. Go, go, go. Do it live. Go, go, go. Do it live. Fucking thing. Do it live. Go, go, go. Do it live. Go, go, go. Do it live. Go, go, go. Do it live. Fucking thing. Do it live. Go, go, go. Do it live. Go, go, go. Do it live. Go, go, go. Do it live. Fucking thing. Do it live. Go, go, go. Do it live. Go, go, go. Do it live. Go, go, go. Do it live. Fucking thing. Do it live. Go, go, go. Do it live. Go, go, go. Do it live. Go, go, go. Do it live. Fucking thing. Do it live. Fuck it. What is? I don't know what that means. Fuck it. What is? I don't know what that means. Fuck it. What is? I don't know what that means. Fucking thing sucks. Sucks. Fuck it. What is? I don't know what that means. Fuck it. What is? I don't know what that means. Fuck it. What is? I don't know what that means. Fucking thing sucks. Sucks. Fuck it. What is? I don't know what that means. Fuck it. What is? I don't know what that means. Fuck it. What is? I don't know what that means. Fucking thing sucks. Sucks. Fuck it. What is? I don't know what that means. Fuck it. What is? I don't know what that means. Fuck it. What is? I don't know what that means. Fucking thing sucks. Sucks. Fuck it. What is? I don't know what that means. Fuck it. What is? I don't know what that means. Fuck it. What is? I don't know what that means. Fucking thing sucks. Sucks. Fuck it. What is? I don't know what that means. Fuck it. What is? I don't know what that means. Fuck it. What is? I don't know what that means. Fucking thing sucks. Sucks. Fuck it. What is? I don't know what that means. Fuck it. What is? I don't know what that means. Fuck it. What is? I don't know what that means. Fucking thing sucks. Sucks. Fuck it. What is? I don't know what that means. Fuck it. What is? I don't know what that means. Fuck it. What is? I don't know what that means. Fucking thing sucks. Sucks. Go, 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 go. What is go? What is go? What does that mean? Go. What is go? What is go? What does that mean? Go. What does that mean? Go, 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 go. I can't do it. Go. What is go? What is go? What does that mean? Go. What is go? What is go? What does that mean? Go. What does that mean? Go, 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 go. I can't do it. Go. What is go? What is go? What does that mean? Go. What is go? What is go? What does that mean? Go. What does that mean? Go, 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 go. I can't do it. Go, 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 go. Do it live. Go, go, go. Do it live. Go, go, go. Do it live. Fucking thing. Do it live. Go, go, go. Do it live. Go, go, go. Do it live. Go, go, go. Do it live. Fucking thing. Do it live.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Dope Dive Live. I'm Sunny Starblast. I am joined by my great co-hosts, King Crazy and Dracon 2K. Guys,
Oh, hello guys. I was waiting for King Crazy to talk before I said anything.
Wait.
Okay.
Hello?
there you go.
Hello?
There you go.
God damn it.
It's okay. King Crazy's in the tornado right now. You can't hear us.
Right. So, today we're going to be talking about,
Sensei,
Invincible!
right, Invincible.
And his
Thank you,
amazing
Katie, for the
friends.
shout out.
Clip that. Send it to him.
And here we go. So, basically, Invincible was a comic series that was written around 2003 ish by Robert Kirkman and two other people whose names I've already forgotten. I'm sorry for that. But, it was also
Oh,
recent. Yes, go ahead, sir.
and it has art by Corey Walker.
Cory Walker. Thank you. Um, it was recently adapted into a television series, and we're going to talk about the television series and its improvements over the comic and maybe its problems.
Yes.
Um, we're fine. How are you guys doing, chat? I mean,
Hello, paper. Hey, kitty.
hello, Paper and Katie and Brandon. How are you?
I see the real Grim in there.
Yes, that's yeah.
Well, I mean that's the only Omni-Man that we know from season 1. Everything else is a lie.
Oh boy, Omni-Man. How do we start this conversation?
Well, I say we can go from episode by episode if you want to go that way. So, episode 1, and the biggest change that the TV show did between episode 1 and the comic is twofold. First, it sets up the GLA analogy a bit better. You get a little bit of tease of these characters early on, understand, like, getting a little bit of their personal lives, what their skill set is, and
Right.
it gives you that, and it also introduces the Mola twins, which become more relevant in both the TV show and a lesser extent in the comics. So that's where they introduce two teams in a sense. Mola twins is technically a team, kind of. They're more like a Suicide Squad kind of team because they always keep dying and new ones get replaced in the older ones.
Yeah, basically, it's one genius who clones himself and implants his consciousness into the other clone,
And
and
now they
they,
can't tell who's who.
Well,
Or
at
no,
this
they
point,
believe that. They believe that they themselves is the real one,
yeah,
and that
each
the
one thinks
other's a
they're the
clone.
original and the other's a clone, which kind of complements their whole their thing. It's their thing,
yeah,
Yeah.
and I think they mention it later in the show where they say it's better that we don't know who's who or things can get bad. Trust me, we know.
yep,
Except when things do get bad, one of them dies. One of them, well, the other one is like, well, that's how it is for a clone. And then you make another clone and just repeat the process.
yes.
Yes, pretty much.
So at this point, there's no way to confirm who the original is. It is most like I assume that the original is probably already long since been dead.
Yep,
Possibly, yeah.
almost definitely.
So definitely they go through a few bodies in this first season. And then going back to the Justice Society, we have the equivalents of the GLA. We have the Green
Guardians
Lantern
of the Globe.
equivalent. Yeah, the Guardians of the Globe. We have the Martian Manhunter equivalent, the One Woman equivalent, the Batman equivalent, who is by far the most blatant of
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
them. We have the Aquaman equivalent.
He's a
The
giant
Aquarius.
fish.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Aquarius is that's his race. He's a giant. He's full of fish people.
yep. We have the Flash equivalent, who's also he's a bit interesting because
He's Russian.
one thing, not only that, one thing that the Flash never does is explain, because you move super fast and you think super fast, how does the rest of the world feel when you're in normal time? And it's interesting when he says, like, for him, like, everything's just so slow for him.
Yep.
because of how fast he goes. And it's interesting how they do this. Even if it's just like a little scene, they just build a little bit of backstory into him, and then what we would assume is a Superman equivalent, but it more feels like a love child between Vandal Savage and oh my gosh. Actually, yeah, it's basically a Vandal Savage with super strength and flight.
Flying. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's really what he is.
The immortal.
He's an immortal. He's basically Vandal Savage if he had flight and super strength. Technically, does Vandal Savage have
And
super strength in the comics? I forget.
I don't remember.
um,
I don't think
well,
so. He's
kind
just
of.
stronger than an average person.
Hmm.
Right. It's like he kind of has super strength, but that's from like the training.
Understood.
Since he is immortal, essentially, he can just get stronger as he goes on. Which
Yeah.
is sort of like the immortal, which
So that sets up the teams, and then the first episode goes through the whole. I mean, although at the start they give you this little conversation between two guards that goes nowhere and has like no impact on the story in later on. Or correct me if I'm wrong. I
Kind
think they like
a little bit. Like it's like, oh hey, that's the thing that guy talked about. Oh well, and that's kind of it. Like I'm looking at the comic, like chapter 1 right now, and Mark gets his powers by page 7,
yes,
and
because
the first 2 pages are a flashback.
makes sense. Like I said, the one thing the comic does different is that it speeds through a lot of the first few episodes of Invincible, the TV show. It really
Yeah.
goes through the fact of Mark and the powers, Omni-Man killing the guards of the globe in like what a few like 1 to 2 pages I think it was. Like, he killed them really quick
Mm,
in the comic.
he killed
no, no, no.
him. He did kill him quickly. He killed him in like 2 pages, and it wasn't a massive fight. He just essentially murdered all of them. That's
Yeah,
it. It was, to me, it showed more of a power imbalance since Omni Man was clearly leagues and leagues above all of these people. And he just went in and just started pushing his fist through people and chopping off the immortal's head.
yeah. And I mean, in the TV show, I mean, they do still show a lot of the gruesome deaths. I think the TV might have probably been a bit more gruesome than the comics in terms of how these people died.
Yes, it was.
And but Omni Man took a more of a beating. And I really feel that in that it was really him testing himself against the heroes of Earth to see how much of a threat they can be against people like him. I
Yes,
think that's why he intentionally took all the extra beats. Because if Omni Man really wanted, he could have just flown super fast, kill all of them, and it wouldn't have even been a challenge.
pretty much.
So yeah,
I'm
so
actually looking
definitely
for it
when
in
he
the
sorry, good.
and I'm looking for it in the comics. Like it's not in volume 1. Like let's see.
Well, him killing the Guardians, it should be
It
pretty
should be
quick.
around issue 10ish, or maybe before that. Maybe issue 8 or 7.
Maybe I skipped it because it's like you said, it might have been like 2 pages, so I just flipped through it.
Yeah, I mean, definitely the shock factor is done well in the TV show. Like this starts on like a generic superhero show. We have the Justice League, we have the villains. What's going to happen next? And then we have Omni Man, who's more of a villain for sorry, a hero for hire. He comes in when he needs to, but he's not really part of the official team. He's like Green Arrow tends to act with the Justice League, where he comes in but every now and then, but he really just does more stuff on his own. And then bam, shock factor. He just comes and kills all of them. Not even a challenge. Even though he gets injured, he I mean his healing factor, which is ridiculous as well.
He comes from a planet full of super duper people.
Yeah.
I don't like that people compared him to Superman because
Well, I
Like
mean,
kind of is. Like by
he
his powers, he kind of
basically
is.
he has the powers of the Superman. He has the flight. He has the lasers. He has
he
the
doesn't have lasers.
he doesn't have lasers. I thought he
No,
had lasers.
no.
No, he just
No, he
has
doesn't have
flight,
lasers.
super speed,
Flight
and
and super
super
speed,
strength.
yes. And then the ability to travel in space. That was the other thing that made him analogous to Superman as well.
Yeah,
Right, and real quick, it's chapter 3 of volume 2 that he takes out the Guardians.
Oh, was it really that late? So where does Volume 1 end then?
probably issue
Um,
4. 'Cause it's in issue 7 that he
Ah,
kills the
yeah.
Guardians.
Understood. Oh, my mistake. I think I know why. I thought it was volume 1, mostly because I'm looking at it in the compendium versions, which is like the big. Actually, wait, hold on. Let me see.
It's probably
I'm t-
better not to look at it through a compendium and just look at the
yeah.
numbers.
If you do at the comic level,
Right.
you're right. Individual comics, you're probably correct. It's volume 2. I'm looking from the compendium, which is like the all like basically the big trade paperbacks that they release for these things. It's the volume 1 of the compendium that he kills off the Guardians.
Right. Like the first volume is 4 chapters.
Yep.
So it is chapter 7. It's just it's just that chapter is the third chapter in volume 2.
Yep.
Understood. And then was it like 1 to 2 pages, and that was it? He killed them all.
Roughly. Maybe a little
Yeah,
bit more.
like he just speed blitzed them. The room was dark. Immortal had no idea what the hell was going on. Turned around, was like, "You!" And then his head comes off.
Yeah,
Well, I
and
mean,
I
at least in the comic, they the immortal. I feel like he's a little more characterized than in the show so far because he at least expresses contempt for Omni-Man and said, "I've always hated you." And Omni-Man's like, "Yeah, me too, dude," and then chops his head
yeah,
off.
I definitely see that, and I think at that point in the how they made him in this, he was more trusting at it, where he's like, okay, we're all superheroes, we're all on the same side, and then for him it's more of a shock when Omni-Man suddenly just kills them, and
Mhm.
and then he dies, and then when he comes back later on in the TV show, you just see the unbridled rage that he has for knowing that everyone who he's cared about, in this case his team, are dead again,
Yep.
and it just shows.
Like we know that he's been through. They show the flashbacks when they're trying to bring him back, so we know that he's gone through pretty much everything in human history. So
Yes.
he's experienced love and the death of love and probably being on teams and those teams dying. So I understand his rage at Omni Man, and I think that's better done in the show than in the comic.
Yep. And I
Right,
will say this though, I can't wait for when the future seasons of this show come out. For people who have not read the comics, it's a very interesting to see perspective from a person who's lived long enough that at a certain point it's just like, well, how much is he going to care when he knows everyone is going to die eventually? It's an interesting way to look at a character, and they do later on in the comics, and I hope they translate that well into the TV show as well.
right, real quick,
Yes,
the Green Lantern stand-in and how like in the TV show she was a model, but
she was a photographer.
she was a photographer.
Yeah,
Yeah, she's a
Okay.
photographer. She's taking pictures of the models.
Okay. Because in the comics, it is a dude who has to eat his Green Lantern thing to gain powers,
yeah, she
and he
does
has
too.
to but he has to like vomit it out
I
so he don't
believe
get
she does
enough.
as well. They just
Yeah,
never showed us her vomiting it out.
they basically just gender bent her
Well then,
and
well then
made,
I
made
wouldn't.
her. It's fine. They just made the character from male to female, and for me, that's such a minor change, just because the character dies off in the first episode anyway. So it's just
Right,
such a
right, right,
minor change.
Something that's
right, right.
interesting that they didn't add in the show was that the green disc person, I don't care what they're called because they die so quickly, but they they explicitly stated that they were the second one, or at least they had a predecessor before them,
Mm,
the guy in the comic. So we don't know anything about the woman except that she's a photographer. That's cool. But
yeah,
I don't know.
they didn't have enough time. They didn't have a need to give more backstory to her because she's gonna die so quick.
Yeah,
Plain and
Look,
that's fair.
the
simple.
reason or the reason that I brought it up is because dude in the comic had to vomit out his thing because the crisis was over. Then he had to go somewhere else like right after, and he's like, he has this thing that's covered in his vomit, and he has to ask like, can I at least wash it off? And they're like, no time. And he's like, ugh. And he has to
Yeah.
eat this vomit covered disc to gain his powers. He's fighting with vomit pouring out of his mouth, holding his stomach. Like, why do I do this?
Yeah. Well,
That's why I brought it up.
that's the life of a hero.
Yeah.
Sometimes you gotta slurp on that vomit.
You know what he reminds me of? And I mean technically what this other character reminds me of for him, if y'all have watched Doom Patrol,
Yeah.
Yeah, I watched
the
it.
TV show, the radioactive guy who always has to be bandaged.
Oh,
Okay.
Mr.
Mr.
Negative.
Negative.
Is it Mr. Negative? Yes, yes, yes.
Yeah,
And basically the fact that the spirit inside of him, or what the being is that while in him he gets powers, while out of him he's basically like very weak compared to what he is, and the same time it has its own it technically it has to be inside him to work. So that's doing, but I mean they're still different characters. I'm not talking in terms of how their personalities. I'm just saying about like similarly like how they use their powers basically means they need to have another being inside of them to be able to access their powers.
Yeah, essentially. Yeah.
Oh hey, Free Explorian, thank you, Bot, for joining us. You know you've made it when bots start coming in.
I've been getting these bots since I started. I've not made it yet.
honestly, me too.
Yeah, they're all over the place. I literally banned a bot as we were starting. And that was one of the ones that do the bad things. Anyway, so Omni-Man murders all of the Guardians of the Globe. A big difference between this and the comics is that in the show they spend the whole season trying to figure out who did it, and in the comics, like we know from that point that it's Nolan who did it, Omni Man who did it, and maybe a few issues later, I think 9 or 10, the Immortal comes back and starts pummeling Omni Man. Well, we have to
Yeah,
wait until what is it, episode 8, I believe, when it starts. When
This the second to last episode, I believe. Oh no, is
yeah.
it the last is it second to last episode? Yes.
Second to last episode.
um no, it was the last episode where they saw. No, yeah, you're right. The second to last
Yeah, yeah.
episode, the Immortal
Yeah.
towards the end, Immortal starts fighting, and then
He
all that
gets
stuff
wrecked again.
happens.
He
Yeah,
gets
he,
wrecked
he
again.
gets bisected.
And
Oh
this time it's
man.
right in front of Mark, and now it's like, hey, son, we need to talk.
Yep.
Yep.
I will say this though. One thing I think the show did better, and in terms of because the show does not follow the same chronology as the comics,
Hmm.
there are some events which are switched around. Like the best example is you see those red eye zombie looking things in the background.
Right.
In the comic, this event happened after Omni Man left
Yes.
um
Actually,
Earth.
most of the events of the season happened after Omni Man left.
Yeah. In
Uh,
this one it happened before, and I found this to be very good. I like the change for this because it basically was like, okay, this give you a bit of background on this for anyone who has not watched the show. These things are created by this super genius who is basically bored with how lack of intelligent everyone is, and he loves basically incorporating technology into organics, basically making his own cyber zombies. That's basically what they are. And it basically untaps the full potential of a corpse. So these things are like super strong, super powerful, even if they were just like regular Joes who the actual bodies are. But I
Yep.
think if I remember correctly, in the case he was just kidnapping jocks or equivalent to that for like the extra strong kind of people.
in the comics, he was kidnapping hobos
Hobos, right? And then
because nobody would miss them.
in the TV show he was kidnapping students.
Yes, he was kidnapping students, which is kind of dumb.
I
I
mean,
think he hated them.
to be fair though, I mean, between a hobo and a student, who may have a better body?
Um, it depends.
It does depend, but I'm thinking like if you kidnap jocks, or people who are like strongly built as students, you might get a better cadaver than a hobo who's on the street.
Yeah, but if you're doing it to students who have families and will be missed, the whole point of him kidnapping the homeless people was because they would not be missed. So him
Yeah,
kidnapping students off of campus would, cause cause some kind of high alert because there were
true.
missing posters posted all over the place.
I think in the TV show he was just more arrogant. He was just
He
like,
was.
I'm super
Yeah.
intelligent. No one can compare with me. I'll do whatever the hell I want. And even when he got caught, and one thing which I love that whole thing brought was the moral grayness, where Invincible sees this guy who's doing some of the most abhorrent things to humans, and he has left with a decision: do I arrest this person or do I kill this person?
Hmm.
And it really brings up that's one of the key themes of, at least I find, season one, and eventually you see it furthermore in the comics as well. The moral gray zone of Invincible. How far is he willing to go to skirt the line between hero and vigilante?
Right.
Because really, when you start killing people, you just become a vigilante at that point. You're literally just killing people.
Yeah, and
Or
it. Go ahead.
yeah. Or you're pretty much doing the same exact thing, except you're what's his name? The guy that's like Nick Fury.
Oh,
Uh,
Cecil.
yes. Where it's like, yeah, you're doing kind of the same thing, but you're doing it for the country.
I mean, you know what? I find Cecil more like Amanda Waller than Nick Fury.
Yes,
Yes,
it's
but
it's a
yes,
little of
but he's willing
both.
to apologize at least.
It's a little of both.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Um,
I can see that. Like, I can literally, he's like, at the end of the day, the planet comes first.
yeah,
Pretty much.
I Cecil is someone who deals in shades of gray. So
Because he has to.
he has to. Of course, he has to. He has to think about what's best for the planet, and of course, he's going to try to find contingencies just in case of something worse than whatever's currently plaguing them happens, and he does.
Right.
Like
But
when, go ahead,
I don't because I forget his name, but the demon detective.
Damien
Oh yeah,
Darkblood.
Damien
Yes.
Darkblood. If I in
Interesting
the
idea.
So what I
It,
want to say
uh,
about Damien is that he shows up for a little bit in the comic, but he gets no explanation, like almost zero explanation. He's just there investigating, and then he's gone after a little while. In the show, he takes up a fairly significant amount of the plot.
yeah,
He even
and I
gets a
mean,
backstory too.
and that also goes back to your point of this show, the TV show sets up as a whodunit style of show, where it's like, oh, who did this? Even though we all know it's Nolan, everyone else is still trying to figure out who did it, and that's where him as a detective comes in, because his whole thing is that he's just doing all the investigations, and who better than a demon who has everything to lose if he goes back to hell. So he's intentionally doing good deeds to keep himself out of hell.
Yep.
right. And I am looking at the comic, and I'm just skimming through it. I got to the part where Immortal got cut in half again by Omni-Man. There was really nothing else going on. Like everybody was kind of doing their own thing. Like it wasn't like Cecil's just sending everything after Omni-Man, including the giant monster. The giant monster just happens, and Omni-Man's
Oh,
like, "Oh,
yeah.
don't worry, everything's fine." And then Immortal shows up, and now they're fighting. And then Mark shows up right at the cutting. Now we're at the we need to talk, and there we get the truth. But anyway, looping back to what I was saying before, it's like Damien Darkblood was going to keep going on the investigation. Cecil told him to back off, not because he didn't believe him, but because if he pushes too far, they were going to have basically evil Superman on their hands, and they're not ready for it yet. Which is
Yep.
why Cecil sends Damien Darkblood back to hell
Yep.
even though David really did nothing wrong.
I mean, it's basically the whole concept of curiosity killed the cat. At a certain point, when the government tells you step away, don't do anything more, and you choose to keep going, they're like, well, we warned you.
Yeah.
Hmm.
And definitely, I mean, and then to make matters worse, since he's back to hell, he's probably getting tortured for escaping the first time.
Yep.
Right.
I do
Meanwhile,
like that was his backstory, by the way.
Yes,
it's not a bad backstory.
it is. It's pretty interesting. It's like literally, what if Hellboy, instead of being born on Earth, escaped hell instead, and has to do good to ensure he doesn't go back to hell. Although, come to think of it, I think that's probably the only time, the only point I think that the comic really drops, and I don't know the TV show's going to do any better, is that that's the only time they really talk about hell, if I recall correctly. I don't think hell is ever brought up again after that.
It was never brought up in the first place in the comic.
Oh, that's
Except
right.
he was just the demon detective. There was not really any kind of backstory for him. He's
Understood.
just a detective.
Yeah. So I don't know if they're gonna incorporate that as something more important in the what do you call it, TV show, as if hell will play a role. I hope it does not, just because the show has enough areas it has to go to as is. But I'm assuming this probably is like a one and done.
To be fair, Invincible takes place in the same universe as Spawn.
It takes place in the
Uh,
same universe as oh my god, what's that other
Savage
big
Dragon.
Yeah, Savage Dragon as well, and
yeah
Ant, and
oh my god, what is it Bloodshot? Bloodsport? What's
no,
that
not
Bloodshot.
Vince's
Bloodshot.
character?
I don't think Bloodshot was in it.
No, I'm thinking what was that what was that movie that Vin Diesel starred in, that superhero movie last year?
Bloodshot.
That was Bloodshot.
Is that the same universe or a different universe?
It's a different universe, but it's the same comic company.
Okay,
Oh
because I
yeah, and no, real quick, because Spawn does show up in the comics for
Yes,
Invincible, but it's not like connected. Like if like it's weird. It's like yeah, you see
there's a
Spawn,
point
but he's
where all the heroes in that universe come to fight a common threat.
yeah. We,
So
we
yeah,
we won't say more than that
that's
because
it.
it was
yeah.
So we see Spawn and we see Savage Dragon as well as a whole bunch of other people. So
yeah,
you know,
Yeah.
it's possible that Hell could be a part of this universe, but probably not.
probably not. Yeah. So going on for the changes again. I'm bringing the story of the zombies back again. What makes it very interesting is that Cecil, instead of killing the kid or keeping him in prison for life, actually gives him a job. He's like, hey, we need an army because we need something strong enough to fight Omni-Man. And they use the videos of how three of these guys were beating the hell out of Mark. And they're like, okay, well, this is probably the best solution that we have. And so they incorporate him into creating more of these zombies based off of corpses. So instead of it being live people, he turns into corpses. They just find dead bodies based on anything where they get killed and use them as corpses. I'm sorry, use them for this activity itself. And then it leads into this very interesting fight in the TV show where it's Omni-Man versus a whole bunch of these zombies, cyborgs, that are just out to try and kill him. And it just goes to show how far Cecil's willing to go to stop a threat like Omni-Man.
I mean, he does also use a satellite to blast a massive laser at the Earth to stop him.
He uses the Iron Cannon for anyone who's played Command and Conquer.
Yeah.
He summons a Cthulhu creature which they captured to fight
Yep.
to fight Omni Man, and they also use zombies. And then
The
in
same
the
zombies from that genius dickhead guy, which pisses everybody off because Cecil didn't even want to work with him.
Yeah, he said that he didn't want to work with him, but in reality, he would probably want to work with him because it's the best thing that they have. I don't
yeah,
think
Like
he's
like
I don't think he's
it is
necessarily
technology.
disgusted.
Well, actually, like I think he is disgusted by him, But at the same time, this guy's making tech that can fight a Viltrumite.
Right.
Yeah,
So
it's basically a disposable superhero force that you can have. You literally just get cadavers, you incorporate technology into them, and you have a completely loyal unending army that would fight for you.
it's it's an Amanda Waller move. Except I think
Is
Amanda Waller would use like live people instead.
Actually, I don't think she would. The main reason why corpses work well in this is because there's no free will anymore. One of the things which happened with the initial why the guy who built them lost was because one of them was able to get his memories back of who he was before as a human, and it helped him slightly override the thing to be able to fight back. As corpses, there is no fighting back. They're just literally dead bodies.
right.
So I think he
Well,
would have probably
all right.
kept
Well, you
using
know
corpses.
what? I don't know. Well, I guess if anything, Amanda Waller wouldn't care whether it was alive or dead. I think we got
Yeah,
a
no.
cyborg.
What Amanda Waller would have done is she would have made the corpses of the superheroes. Like all the supervillains that die in the Suicide Squad missions, she'll just use them their corpses for this. That's how I feel she would have done. And whether the
Probably,
corpses
yeah.
keep superpowers of the villains, who knows?
That would be an interesting thing to see.
Yep,
I'd read
that
that
is
book.
something. That is definitely something that they never looked at in the show. Was what happens if you use a superhero's body as a corpse? They never really explore that. I don't know if the show ever will, but I don't think the comics ever explored that concept
Um,
because they just seem to like
spoilers. Is
yeah.
it? There's a thing that happens later on where spoilers happen and spoilers. So spoilers.
Oh yes. Okay, never mind. So yes, so that definitely that does change from the comics where these now fight Omni Man, and it feels like it feels like a change that you can believe in. It's like I can see Cecil doing something like this.
Right. And it's mostly because at that point, Mark was not strong enough to fight off all three without one of them going against his programming, so to speak.
Yeah.
So
So
they assumed that since it's hurting Mark, it could possibly hurt Nolan. But
yeah.
since Nolan is old, and old by Viltrumite standards would mean that he's pretty much solidified as an
Um,
all powerful being.
isn't he on the younger end? I believe wasn't he like the last one of the last generations of Viltrumites that they sent out?
Um, he's younger, but he's still old. So I think Nolan's in his early thousands,
Yeah, probably. Um,
and
but
that's
yeah,
weird to say, but like yeah, he's over 1,000 years old.
yeah, Viltrumites live a long time, and again, that's part of why the ending of the TV show, where when Nolan asks Mark, um, all of them are going to die. What's going to be left in a few hundred years after they've all dead and gone? And Mark responds, "You." And it's really just not only to highlight the fact that they are literally they live a long life, a very very long life.
Yep.
Mm.
So,
And
and
I think that's also part of the Superman motif there as well because a lot of DC comic like a lot of the Elseworlds type of DC comics show Superman living for a very long time as well.
yeah, that's true. I think I feel like he's closer to a Saiyan than Superman, but
Yeah, he is basically if Superman and the Saiyan had a baby, and the reason I say that is because the Viltrumites have this very very cheat ability that all Saiyans have. If you get your ass beat, excuse my language, to the point of near death, and sometimes to the point of where you should die, and you recover, you get more powerful than you were before. It is literally a cheat skill that what the Viltrumites and Saiyans share together.
yeah. So it's like you know, I they essentially become more dense. What'd you say?
And I'm not sure, like I don't know if that's like an actual like power that Viltrumites have. The Saiyan thing.
It's not like a Zenkai boost, but it's closer to if you get beat up, you're getting stronger. If you die from it, you're essentially weak. That's their philosophy, so to speak. But also, it wasn't explained well in the comic, so it's kind of up to the reader to form this from the context clues that they gave. Like they'll
Yeah.
say, if you can't survive it, then you're not a real Viltrumite and you deserve to die. If you survive it, you're gonna get stronger.
Yep. I mean, the best
Really?
example of this, and I'm going very very spoilery here. I'm not going to say what happened here, but people can read about it when it happens. There is a point where Mark gets ridiculously injured, worse than this, and it takes him a good while to recover. And after that incident, when he came back, he was more powerful than he was before that injury,
Mm-hmm.
and that reflects easily how much they grow once they come back from like life threatening injuries.
Actually, there's one thing that I noticed.
Mm-hmm.
Um, the episode where they're dealing with was it Metalhead? You know that
Yeah, yeah.
The
uh,
the
the
one with
the auto tune, the auto tune speaking
Yes,
guy.
the auto tune
uh
guy.
yes,
Yeah,
it's
yeah, yeah.
the best episode with the best cat.
Yes. So he fights the cat, and leaving everybody, and then out of nowhere he just flips out, and now he's tossing them around, and his voice is breaking. He's all like, "Who else wants some?" Like, like he had a whole Gohan moment.
Yeah, that was a
Yeah.
little different from in the comics because he doesn't just randomly rage out and get more powerful. Like he
Well,
beats. Go ahead.
I mean, I understood where it was coming from. It was basically just to show that anger could give you that extra adrenaline rush, but it also blinds you, and it's something which is brought up again and again in the comics, where fighting with anger just blinds you.
Mm-hmm.
So like you get that boost because you're angry, you're punching harder, everything, but you're not thinking anymore, and that's how people can outsmart you and easily beat you when you stop thinking.
I want to bring something up that's related to what King Crazy just mentioned with Metalhead, and that's Battle Beast.
Yes, Battle Beast. Funny enough, I forgot about in the comics because I did. It'd been a long time since I read the comics when I watched the TV show, and I forgot that Battle Beast was male. When I first saw Battle Beast in the TV show, I was like, "It's a female," and I realized, "Oh wait, no, it's a male."
Yep,
I
Battle
think in the
Beast.
comics he's like like burlier, like he's like more muscular in the
I
comics.
mean, everybody's super muscular in the comic, like to the point where it's kind of like JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, ridiculous. Like, no, seriously, like everybody is buff. Like, so I'm okay with Battle Beast looking like a giant furry who can pretty much rip everyone to shreds. By the way, Battle Beast is OP. Like,
Yeah,
Yes, it,
he is pretty much as strong as any Ultramite.
he is stronger than any Viltrumite. Basically,
Yeah,
Bat
he's stronger than the average Viltrumite. I'll say it like
basically
that.
Battle Beast is on par with some of the strongest Viltrumites. Like out of his entire race, he is just like the strongest warrior.
Yes, he's actually, well, like he said in the show, he's looking for a fight that gives him honor. There's
Yeah,
no honor in squishing ants. So, as he said,
yeah.
yeah. And that's part of the reason why you saw in the TV show at a certain point, when there was no one left to fight, Battle Beast just got bored and left.
he's like, these guys can't take me. I'm out.
Yep.
Deuces.
Yeah.
Don't worry, you'll see our beloved Battle Beast again.
Yes, and I will say this though: if Battle Beast had stayed, if Battle Beast and Nolan fought, I suspect Battle Beast would have won.
He would. Yes, he would have won.
So that's part of the reason why Battle Beast had to like dip. They couldn't allow Battle Beast to stay on Earth when
But
Nolan was going full crazy.
Nolan didn't get involved on purpose. In the comic, I'm pretty sure this happened after Nolan left.
Yes, in the comics happened after Nolan left. In the TV show, it's really Nolan sticking to the Viltrumite creed, where all Viltrumites have to do their own fights. They and survive
Right.
the fittest. And
if
so
they can't survive it, then too bad. They're not strong enough.
yeah, and you could tell that Nolan was conflicted because it shows up here where this is like one of the few times you see the cracks in his belief, where it's like although he's following the Viltrumite creed of the strong survivor of the fittest, he also is thinking of as a human all the emotions he's had, and that he has a bond with Mark that Viltrumites don't have with their offspring.
Right. Ooh, who's a character that I really didn't like this season? That's not the one that we're gonna talk about soon. I know who
That's
you want to
not.
talk
Oh
about.
man.
She who must not be
Oh wait.
okay.
Oh no no no. Rex explode.
Who I want to talk about.
No. You know what? I liked Rexplode in the TV show, and the reason why is because even in the comics, he was meant to be like the scumbag character who no one really likes. And
I
how I enjoyed the TV show is that at the start he feels he's hot shit. Excuse my language again. Please tell
it's
me a
okay.
person I have to stop. And you see through what happens through the TV show that he has to grow up a bit, where he's like, "Oh, I can't be doing this because people are dying, and people who I know are dying." And
Um,
he grows up a little bit in the first TV show, not too much because not really that much people died yet. But in the comics, you see him grow as a character more. The more bleak things become.
yeah, eventually. I I like the characterization, but he's a bigger jerk in the show than he is in the
Oh
comics.
hell yeah, he is.
Like, holy
The show
crap.
makes him not redeeming at all.
And I love his voice actor because it's
It's the guy from Brooklyn Nine-Nine,
yes, he's Pimento from
Pimento.
Brooklyn Nine-Nine. And I love the actor, but the character, oh my gosh, you just want to punch him in the face. Also, I noticed that he's slightly darker in the show.
Okay.
No.
I chalk it up to them making the cast more diverse in the show because there are a few characters that changed skin colors in the show that weren't so in the comics.
Who else aside from Amber?
The wait, what was the Green Lantern guy also black in the comic?
Yeah, he was black.
Oh yes, he was. That's right. I think there's really like two of them, and that's it.
Yeah, I think it was just Rex and Amber.
Yeah. Oh well, they tried to make Rex more what Latin, I should say, Latino.
They made him less white. I'll say it like that.
Yeah, yeah, they did.
It's hard to determine.
It's hard to determine. Yes. And so just give people a bit of background of what Rex did. Rex first comes off thinking he's the best thing since sliced bread because he's dating the most powerful character on the team at that point, um,
Adam Eve.
Adam Eve, who literally, in terms of power levels of this entire franchise, is
She's
probably
OP.
broken.
Yep.
She's not broken on Viltrumites in terms of a power level.
She can break down and rebuild the atoms of anything. You see it during the show. She literally
Yeah,
creates doors and walls in her own house.
she makes
And then
stuff out of
unmakes
nothing.
them.
It's amazing. She's
Yep,
overpowered.
she
Yes.
really is, and
But
it. Sorry, go ahead.
oh yeah, real quick. But what makes her interesting is that okay, so you have her parents who want her to keep dating Rex in spite of the fact he's been cheating on her, just so that she can like be protected or whatever. And but she's like, but then she leaves to actually like be a full time superhero. You actually see her like making a blog, fixing rivers, and like literally just helping people, and how that just feels good to her. So it's like a nice little contrast to all the other like dark brutal stuff happening. But
Yeah,
she's actually helping people.
that's what she did in the comic too. Except she, instead of staying in the instead of staying in the U.S. like in the show, she went to places like Africa to help people who were underprivileged, and she can create matter. So she created food for them.
Yeah. Although I would say this, it's not going to be it's not the show yet. It is something that I do have an issue with in the comic, and I hope the show fixes it because I really felt that this was a disservice to her character.
Mhm.
They make her a bit too obsessed with Mark. And I don't like that in the comic. I felt that that was just a weak point of her character because it really felt like she's this strong, independent woman who needs a man. It's Wonder Woman.
It it was really weird because in the comic she, I don't know if I want to go with obsessed, but
Obsessed.
she was essentially waiting in the wings for him. And
Like literally, there is a point in the comic where a certain thing impacts her life for a long period of time, and it's related to Mark. That's a level of obsession that shouldn't should not be there.
yeah, but
That's what I'm
she's
saying.
also like a teenage girl who's in love with this guy.
I understand that, but I mean, what happens, and we know what it is. It happens over a long span of time, so she's had time to age up, and it feels bad. It sucks that it's something that affects her as a teen. 30 years later, she's 30 plus years later, she's still on that mentality that is the biggest thing in her life.
30 years. Oh, right. Okay. Yeah. I know what you're talking about. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah,
Okay. Okay.
and that's the reason why I say that's the one thing I didn't like in the comic, and I'm hoping the TV show fixes that. Is that she has too much of an obsession with Mark in that type of relationship, and I don't want that. For her being such a powerful character, I didn't want that for her.
Um, yeah, I don't necessarily want the character to be so obsessed with the protagonist because that's, it's goofy to me, first of all.
It is.
But at the same time, they will probably change the character because since Rex cheated on her with Duplicate and two of her copies,
Oh,
uh, in the comic, when she finds out, she kind of just curls up in a corner while it's going on. They don't know. While in this, she essentially confronts Rex. I also don't like the fact that when this happens, a lot of the in the show, a lot of the blame is taken off of Kate and put solely on Rex. Because it was in the comics, it was like Kate just did whatever she wanted with whomever she wanted, while in the show, she explained it away by saying, Rex told me that you broke up with him and you're now with Mark and that this is okay. I'm like, really? That, I don't know. It characterizes Kate more, but in a different way than she was in the comic because she had her character. Kate is
yeah,
known to be kind of duplicitous, and that was not a pun. I didn't mean it to be like that, but you know what I mean.
yeah. I mean, it is definitely something which which the show. I think the show just did that more to just highlight how much more of a scumbag Rex was.
Fair. And I mean, Rex is a massive scumbag.
Oh yeah, yes he is.
I also like that he got the crap kicked out of him by Monster Girl.
Oh yes, Monster Girl, one of the favorites of this series. Literally, she is a combination of well, no, she's basically Wendigo plus what the Hulk
Yeah.
kind of,
Yeah.
and she has this curse where she literally uses her life force to turn into the other one. And one thing which is actually funny, which it becomes a point later on, is that she does also change gender. It,
Yes.
in her
She
abomination
goes
form.
from a female human to a male monster.
Yes. So keep that in your mind for when you read the comics. That's as far as I'm going with that.
Yeah. Oh, something else something that kind of ties into the fact that a lot of this stuff happened after Nolan left in the comics, but happened before, obviously, in the show. The Flaxen invasions. Only one of them happened while Nolan was on the planet, if I recall correctly. The first time happened when Mark and his dad were in a mall after one of the plot lines that didn't happen in the show happened. The one where the teacher was implanting bombs in students.
Ah, yes.
So, and in that one, Nolan got kidnapped instead of him flying into the portal during the third fight, and he was enslaved for like 2 weeks, which was like a couple years in the Flaxen dimension. And they also never showed Omni-Man obliterating the whole civilization, which was weird, by the way.
That was a crazy scene.
It was
Very well
crazy.
animated.
It was well animated. It was wild, and it showed. Uh,
They did show the
aside,
ruthlessness
it,
of him.
yeah, he was already. We already saw how ruthless he was before, but he really shone through in that scene where he essentially decimated the whole civilization, forced them to make a portal for him to go back home, and then killed them anyway.
Okay, allegedly killed them because at this point we don't know if the whole civilization is truly dead. Because if they're going to follow the points in the comic later on, technically they won't all be dead. But again, it depends on how far the TV show deviates from the comic.
Yeah, that's the thing. And I know that Kirkman likes to deviate from what he did in past things, like he did with The Walking Dead.
Yes, Walking Dead after season what 4?
After season, yeah, well, really, since after season one, the whole farm thing was just a debacle. But I'm not getting into that.
Yeah.
Um, so we talked about Rex, we talked about Eve and Duplicate, we talked about the Cybermen. That's what I'm calling them now, by the way, the Cybermen.
Yes. Also, we didn't talk about one character on here who got a lot more development in the TV show than the comic. Robot.
Um,
Yeah.
it's
Robot.
about the same as in the comic though,
No.
except for him getting close to Monster Girl. That
Yeah.
was a little more characterization, but everything else was pretty much on the money.
Yes, but there were more moments I found in the TV show where you had hints of, oh, is this robot a person with a soul? Is this what we are seeing here? Until you get the Adventures was like, no, it was actually a human who was just playing a robot all the time.
Yep. But that's almost like it's pretty much the same as the show, except they do the reveal a little later in the show. Because if I recall, he was talking to the Mauler twins, and he let them know exactly what they were. Well, mostly what they were going to do, and
Yeah.
then they did the whole mind transfer, and then Rudy, the body, died. They even
Oh.
show in the comics. They even showed Robot taking Rex's DNA. I don't remember them doing it in the show. They might have
Oh
shown
no.
it, but I don't remember.
They did a TV show as
They
well,
did.
and they basically explain, and the reason why Rex did why robot is because Monster Girl showed some interest in Rex,
Yeah, I
and
know that.
he wanted that.
But yeah. So also, a lot of people in this series are geniuses. Like honestly, if you think about it, the Mauler twins, actual geniuses. Um, Eve, scientific genius. She has to know how these how the atoms build together to be able to create and destroy matter. So that's weird. Rudy, genius. Rudy is robot, by the way. He says it at the end. I don't care. Um, unless if you're someone who doesn't if you're someone who doesn't really punch things hard, you're really smart. If you're someone who punches things hard in this series, probably of average intelligence. That's something that I noticed.
Got that trade off somewhere.
That's true and completely fair. How do you guys feel about Alan in the show? Alan the alien, by the way.
Not
There's not
much
enough of
to
him
go
yet.
on. Yeah.
Like
Fair
like
enough.
it, the intro basically plays out the same way as in the comic, where he comes, they have a fight, they have a talk, and he leaves. I
What do
mean,
you
and if
mean, Urath? This isn't
Yeah.
Urath?
yeah, I mean
Gosh.
it's fine. Alan for me is probably the one of the most comic accurate characters we've had in the show in terms of how everything happened.
Hmm.
But yeah, so Alan, I wouldn't have a view on until season 2 of the TV show, where then you get more of Alan's plot. And then I think it would be a better way to make a comparison between him in the show and him in the comic.
Fair enough. That's fair. I can appreciate that. Okay, gentlemen, which what plot point would you like to speak about or character?
I think we kind of covered everything.
We didn't cover everything yet.
Okay, so I'll go through
Most
the
things.
points here. The first one of the bigger changes that the TV show had, Mark's best friend.
Ah,
Right.
William. William
William,
is gay right off the bat.
yes,
Yes.
There's no him having an epiphany or anything. He's completely out, and that's cool actually. Like, but
yeah,
it kills one of the subplots that happened in the comic after Eve broke up with Rex. She started dating William.
yeah. I mean, to be fair, I think the reason why they did the change with William is because at the time when Kirkman wrote William, it was still a time when people who were homosexual couldn't really be themselves yet, and that was what William's story was reflecting, where a lot of times they had to hide who they were
That's fair.
from their families and everything. Eventually coming out when they feel comfortable, safe enough. Whereas in 2020, it's like everyone comes out when they want to. Well, not everyone, but a lot of people are more able to come out when they want to because it's much more acceptable now.
Yeah.
That's true. I
So
wanna not necessarily counter, but I want to bring up the fact that War Woman, I think was her name, the fake
Yeah.
Wonder Woman. She was an out lesbian at the time, and that was
Yes.
before she died.
was she still in the comic? I don't think they really fleshed out in the comic at all.
They
She had
don't
a
flesh it out,
girlfriend.
but
They
she.
don't flesh
Yes.
out the relationship, but she was with a girlfriend, and right, like what right before Omni-Man killed them, they all got their little itty bitty backstories,
Mhm.
and that was part of her itty bitty backstory. She was like a CEO or something. Um,
In the comics they don't say, like in the comics she's wasted in bed with her girlfriend, they're having breakfast, and then a giant monster thing just appears. She fights
mhm.
it, and then she gets the call.
Yeah, but they do also mention that she had a company that was very lucrative, and a lot of it was funding. It helped the government with funding and stuff too. I believe something like that.
I mean, I go like this for her character. It seems that anytime there is a one woman equivalent nowadays, they have to make her lesbian. Although this one happened much earlier because it was like 2000, 2003. But like because this came out after The Boys, it's like it seems like every time you need to have a one woman analogy, they have to be lesbian.
Oh, I guess that's what writers like to do now. I don't know.
No, I mean I'm not
So
giving them
why
fault.
not? Why
Each
not?
person do whatever they want.
No,
It just works for
I know
the
what you're
time.
getting at.
Well, besides War Woman and
You've
Maybe
gotten
from
very
the Boys.
soft.
Hello.
Yeah, we can hear you now.
Okay, so besides War Woman and Maybe from the Boys, was there another one?
Um, Let me think. What are the other one woman analogies I can think of? I know Marvel's new current line has this woman analogy as well because they're doing a lot of the DC analogies in it. I just haven't read it to know if anyone has read one of the more recent Marvel series.
I know
Where
what you're talking about, and I think, God, uh, gotta name something stupid like Power Princess.
yeah, Marvel basically just has a current line of comics where they're just like, hey, what if we do DC and rip off DC more than we normally do, make it as blatant as this is DC as we can, but don't say it's DC.
See, here's the thing. It's like they've been doing this for years, but whether the books are actually good or not is, up to interpretation. Like
I, I
personally, I didn't care for it.
I look at it this way: I haven't really read a full DC or Marvel comic in 5+ years. I've lost interest in both of those companies. I really have. I don't want to say it like it's because of the right. Actually, no, I'm wrong. I'm wrong. There's one comic line right now which I have thoroughly enjoyed, and I am recently. I'm mad I forgot it. Is the new X-Men where they are their own nation, and I will say that I've thoroughly enjoyed what they've done with that storyline.
Yep. And see, the thing is, they're doing certain things that have kind of been done before in their own universe, but everyone's like, "Ah, shit, the mutants are here," and they're like running house on all of us. Like
Yeah.
they recently they terraform Mars to make it a mutant planet, and this makes everybody worried, even though all sorts of things have been on Mars before.
Yep. I mean, literally in the current line of Marvel comics, the mutants are in the most powerful positions they've ever been in any previous Marvel comic. The exception, of course, being House of M, where they've completely control all of the world. But
Yeah.
basically, they're so powerful that they have a living island which can't be invaded. Well, one group was able to get in, but it really can't be invaded. They control sword. They literally control Sword because in canon, the original leader of Sword, I forgot her name, was a mutant. So it makes perfect sense that Sword falls in line with them. So yeah, it's pretty interesting. I don't want to go any further than that because there's a lot of stories, and we actually went Invincible and not Marvel at the moment.
Right.
Yeah. So William was one I wanted to talk about. Definitely, he was a change from the comic, and I do agree with you. He was much more flamboyant in this than he was in the comic.
Yeah. Which I think is cool. I understand why it was done. I don't really have. I don't think I have any problems with it.
I don't either. I actually the only thing I do wish was I wish William would have caught that Mark was invincible a bit earlier. But you know what? It's fine when he caught it.
Yeah, I think so. Also, they had him in a relationship with what's his name again? Oh, crap. The guy who got kidnapped and turned into a Cyberman.
Yeah, I forget his name as well, but yes, that was the relationship which actually fueled the story of William trying to be his own investigator to try and find his boyfriend, and then making Mark have to do artificial drama by having to pick between saving his friend and saving his relationship.
And honestly, oh boy, we're gonna get into that relationship. Ooh.
Yes. So that was the first one, which I said definitely was a change from the comic. The second one, which I can say is one of the villains, if I recall correctly, wasn't in the comic. The guy who wanted to affect the weather, the Earth or something like that.
Doc Seismic?
Doc Seismic. What was he in the comic? That
He
Earth?
was. He was.
Well, no, was his plan the same, or was it different from what they showed in the TV show?
Um, it's a little more. He was just a kook in the comic, and they fleshed out his
Mm,
backstory more. So let me
okay.
look at my notes real quick. Um, what did I say when I saw that scene? Doc Seismic ain't wrong. He's a little more competent in the show. Yeah, he's actually slightly more competent than he had been in the show previously.
Yeah.
Mm.
I mean, in the comics previously. He comes in, he's like, hey, I'm actually a doctor with a PhD in seismology. Also, I minored in women's history, African American studies,
Oh
and
yes. Okay.
dance, which
So
was weird to me a little.
one thing which we will say that the TV show has gotten flack for is that it is a bit woke. Um, whether that's to your taste or not. Personally, I didn't find it affected the story enough for me to consider it a problem.
Not really.
But some people may consider it based on a certain character that it may be a
The
problem.
one that we've been dancing around this whole time?
Yes.
No one
Okay,
wants to dance with her.
Mark
Um,
does.
but basically, I found it was okay because there are far worse shows that slam wokeness in your face that I hate. This one
see,
was not it.
see, what's kind of apparent these days is that either you put in the woke stuff and get called out for that, or you don't put it in and get called out worse.
No, I look at it this
There's
way.
a way that you can do it without being obnoxious.
Yes, there
Right.
is a way to do woke right, and I think they really perfected that. One of the best ways I see to do woke right would be X-Men. Storm, probably one of the best examples of a strong female of color who everyone was on board with much early on, and it never felt that her abilities and her stuff was forced. I don't think anyone really
Right.
has a problem with Storm.
Dude, dude, the what I was saying before about Mars being was it terraformed? She was one of the major players that made that happen because of
Yeah,
her weather powers, and they made her the regent for Mars when Doom was asking like, okay, I'm sick of all this shit. Just okay, who's in charge? Explicitly tell me who the fuck is in charge here. And Storm shows up, and they have that big like stare off. Like that was cool.
yeah, but look at it this way: the X Men and mutants in general, some of the biggest Omega level mutants are female.
That's true.
Yeah,
On the protagonist side, like literally Jean Grey, Kitty Pryde, Storm, Rogue, more or less. These are all strong females on the X Men side, and they're all Omega level mutants, or some beyond Omega as well, depending on their power sets. Like Storm is beyond Omega based on her weather control. Jean Grey is beyond Omega because of her ability of the Phoenix Force. Kitty Pryde is beyond Omega because of the phasing ability that's broken to all hell.
there are ways around it, but I see your point.
Yeah, and then Rogue because her abilities has no end cap. If she absorbs enough, she can become more broken than anyone else.
She can become a Viltrumite.
Yeah,
Oh,
but well, yeah, but she could also go insane.
it depends. Like, her insanity is because of absorbing all the memories. If she's able to absorb powers enough without taking the memories with it, she can definitely be much better off sanity wise.
Yeah,
Back on topic now.
Back on
We're
topic.
gonna.
Yes, yes. That's what I'm saying. So that's an example of doing woke right.
Yes.
This show did woke on the level okay. Sometimes it was blatant, sometimes it wasn't. It's okay. I mean, it didn't affect the enjoyment of the show. And I think that's really where I see, except for one character who may or may not really be as bad as people put her out to be.
We'll talk about that soon.
Yeah. So so basically, going back to the plot, Doc Seismic and William, I think are like the two changes I can think of. One minor, one major, but I found William's character still perfectly fine.
Yeah,
yeah.
William was fine. I think he was kind of a jerk a little bit. Like, not a jerk, but he was essentially a. Oh yeah, he was a teenage boy. So yeah, kind
Yeah,
of
Uh,
a jerk.
it's like he's that friend where it's like, yeah, he's an asshole, but he's our asshole.
yeah.
It's like that.
Oh, although I will say this though, can we please have teen shows without stereotypical bully stuff?
Yeah,
'Cause
it's tired. I don't remember it happening that much in the comic.
It,
I really don't.
it's literally the driving point for Mark and Amber to date. That's why I remember it so much. It's like, seriously, do we have to stereotype bullying again? Do we?
Hey, nerd. First of all, the bully was an idiot, just randomly interested in Amber, so he gropes her. So she tells him off, which is cool. And then Mark is like, "Hey, chill. She don't want to be bothered." So he beats the crap out of Mark in the hallway and walks away. No repercussions.
No,
Yep.
he kicked that. Amber kicked him in the balls.
Yeah, I'm. That's fine. That's not the kind of repercussion I'm thinking about. I'm thinking about him actually beating the crap out of somebody and managing to walk away without any kind of administrative issues.
Oh,
I
that. Yeah.
understand stuff like that can happen in school,
Yeah.
but
Uh,
I don't know. But then again, but it happens again, and Mark is like, "Okay, hit me," and the guy hits him a few times, and nothing happens. He just gets freaked out and runs away. This is twice this guy has assaulted a student in the school, and nobody's done anything except
yep.
for one girl kicking him in the nuts. So, like, what's going on with that school? Where you at, Principal Winslow? You already
Oh,
escaped
Oh yeah.
Urkel.
The school is Reginald Val Johnson High School.
Yeah, it is.
yes. Yes.
And Principal Winslow is voiced by Reginald Bell Johnson. Amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He is one of the best cameo characters in anything.
He was in Die Hard. Damn it.
Well, we all know he was in Die Hard. He literally played a cop in Die Hard.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which I feel is a bit of like a typecasting for him. Which
Yeah.
it's kind of bad, but still good
Listen,
to
he
see
takes
him
the jobs
around.
and he pays the bill, and it pays his bills. So
Yep.
Yes.
Hell,
I'm glad he's getting the work. I'm glad he's getting the work.
even in Brooklyn Nine-Nine, they ran the joke with that. where, where he's like police officer, and he's like, yes, from Die Hard. I'm like, yeah.
yes, Principal Winslow was clearly not doing his job then. When this one bully was beating the crap out of Mark.
Well, yeah, it's because the bully wasn't beating up Eddie or Steve.
Steve is a grown man now, out there doing nerd stuff. He probably works for Cecil, to be honest. Thanks for the lurk, Pigeon.
What are you talking about? Steven doing it. That Steve's growing his own weed brand right now.
Oh,
I
excuse
was
me,
not
Purple
going to mention
Urkel.
that. But
Purple
you had to go.
Urkel.
You had to go there. Selling with Snoop.
Oh,
Selling with Snoop Dogg.
You know what? I'm fine with it. You know what? You do you. If you want to grow weed, it's legal in most states now anyway.
yep. Oh boy.
Hey there, Snoop. You want to get some of that green?
That's it. The podcast is over. I'm never coming back again. Goodbye, everyone.
Oh man.
Oh, I'm sorry. Did I do that?
I will kill you.
Okay,
Oh
I
my
would
gosh.
honestly say this though. My favorite skit parody of Steve Urkel will still always go to Key and Peele.
Yeah, that was great.
Yes. Nothing tops it, honestly.
Not nothing tops that. That was just so great. Steve with psychic powers.
Yeah.
I mean, that's how he held our attention for 8 years. Anyway, let's get back to Invincible.
Yeah, you keep going off tangents. I know.
No, it's okay because it's semi-related at least.
Yeah.
X-Men is semi-related, and so is Reginald Vell Johnson and Urkel because Reginald Vell Johnson voiced Professor Winslow. So that's cool. That's
Yeah.
cool.
So I mean that's really the thing, and I mean you know what? At this point, we've covered most. Oh right, yes, we also missed one person who also has a major role in this show, and was a Loki major role. The mom.
Yes, Debbie. That's who I wanted to talk
The
about.
shit she deals with.
Honestly, I like that they characterized her more in the show because she basically is just there. That's how she is.
Yes,
Like,
in
she
the comic,
exists.
she exists, and then stuff happens, and then she exists in a worse situation until something else happens.
And she's
In the
better.
show, in the show, I love the fact that she suspects that her husband is up to something, and then when she finds the stuff from not, from not Hellboy to go
Well,
investigate.
yeah, Damien Darkblood.
Yeah, so then she does the investigation, and then she finds out herself that, oh God, her husband murdered a bunch of superheroes, and he's been hiding it all this time.
It's
The thing okay, it's like I know that all this stuff had to happen. The thing I don't get, why did Omni-Man keep the bloody evidence at his house?
he said why. He said maybe he hoped she would find it.
Yeah, I mean, let's put it this way: Omni Man in this had a guilty conscience from the start.
Yeah,
Life on Earth has affected him so much that he was making some simple mistakes that he never should have done. But it's basically, it's like he wanted to get himself caught. He's like, I'm tired of living this lie. But at the same time, it's like, can I really? In his heart, he's like, I have to accept the Viltrumite way, but I've also accepted human way somewhat, and these two conflict with each other.
right. He's at conflict with himself. Doesn't know what he wants. Even in the flashback, as he was beating the tar out of his own son, he he was standing off to the side during a little league game, and it's like I could fly and see the game better from up there. And the wife is like, "Come on, that's not how life here is. You gotta watch the kid here and cheer for them and watch them be carefree. See that they don't have the weight of the world on their shoulders and blah, 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 blah." And he gets into it and he's cheering for Mark as, for real, little kid ran all four bases and got home on a grounder. So that's not bad. But anyway, it he's more human than he was 20 something years ago when he first got onto the planet. He was there to conquer. He realizes that he still has to conquer, but he loves his family. Even
Yep.
all of the stuff he told Mark, that I love your mother, but in a way that you would love a pet. It's all crap.
Yeah, it was. It was basically just him just
Trying to convince himself.
Yep.
He was trying to,
Unfortunately,
yeah.
she overheard this. And I think that's one of the best changes that the show did from the comic. The
She heard
fact
it in the comic too.
no, but that was after.
Yeah,
She didn't
after.
hear she didn't hear it directly when it happened. You saw the pain in her face in the TV show when she's seeing her husband and her son fight each other, and the husband beating the crap out of her son. She's seen all of this, and then when she hears this from her husband, that just what shatters her a lot. I
Yep.
think I feel it's much more impactful in the show compared to what the comic did. The comic basically has it as a second hand thing after, where she asks her son about what happens, and then he explains that these things happen. That's not as impactful as seeing it firsthand.
Oh no, she didn't ask him what happened and he explained it. He
Oh yeah, he.
heard it on TV because someone who was recording from Nolan's earpiece leaked it.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Yes. You're correct. But then she also talked to her son like after that about if there's anything that his father said, anything like that. I recall the comic having
He
something like
said
that.
something. He said something along the lines of, um, if I can recall correctly, that he never, he isn't who we thought he was, and he never said anything nice about. He didn't say anything else that wasn't recorded. If she heard everything, then that's everything he said,
Yeah.
essentially. So she was looking for at least a last thing to hang on to, that he loved her. And I mean, it was very obvious that he still loved his family because of the way he was fighting. He was so aggressive towards everybody who was kind of spying on them.
Yes.
When Damien Darkblood sort of ambushed the wife when she was alone, he got super mad and went to Darkblood's office and told him off.
Yep.
Don't bother my family.
And then when the invisible soldier showed up, he just tore them to pieces.
Yep.
Christ. He pushed one. He just shoved one.
Yes.
And half of their body went over the countertop and the other one just stayed there. And I was like, Jesus Christ.
You know, I felt bad for them when they saw the first one die. They were all like, "Oh crap, we're screwed."
Yeah,
Yeah.
I felt really bad for the woman. She got knocked. She got hit really hard, and her body twisted the wrong way. Like her upper half was turned the
Yeah.
wrong way, and I was like, Jesus.
If it's one thing the show did not shy from is the graphic nature of superhero stuff. Good lord,
Oh
they
yeah,
some of those things were like I remember the first time when Mark goes out to try and save stuff when the invasion happens, and then he starts seeing people just die in front of him, and it's different from just watching the TV to actually see someone that you're trying to see just physically die in front of you. It is scarring.
like when he
Yeah.
tried to save the old woman,
Yep,
and they blasted him, and he just rolled while trying to protect the old lady, and all of her limbs were broken,
yep,
and she died anyway.
Or probably even the worst one when when he's fighting Nolan and he brings up the building, tries to save that like that mom and her child, and he has their arm, but that's all that's left.
yep.
Yeah,
And then the train.
or yeah, I was gonna say the train scene.
The train scene
Jesus.
is by far one of the most memorable scenes if you wanted to show how much um that Future Minds could do, that train scene was just like through a train. Damn.
Actually, it's not that they can do that. Like any other Superman has, like hobbies can do that. It's the fact that say what?
No, someone activated one of my voice mod things. So I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, it actually wasn't me this time. Amazing. So it shows that Nolan actually, well, could show off that he didn't have a problem with this, and whether he actually did at the time or after, jury's out on that. But it shows how brutal the Viltrumites are.
Yes, it really does. My lord, that final battle between Mark and Omni-Man, I think it's probably one of the most memorable superhero battles I can think of ever done well in animation.
Straight up beat his teeth out.
Yeah, you know that's something that bugs me with these kinds of action cartoons or shows or whatever. Characters get the tar beaten out of them. The teeth fall out. Do their teeth get replaced? Because
So
we're gonna we see him later on, and he has all of his teeth.
okay, so I'm going to play devil's advocate here, at least for this show. It seems that there's a good medical plan called Cecil's team that does a lot of medical repairs and stuff. So I suspect a lot of Mark's teeth are probably just artificial teeth put into his mouth.
Fair.
It's like another thing that makes him kind of like the Nick Fury, Amanda Waller of this world. The White Room. That's
Which is
pretty much invisible to people who drink like water because it has a chemical that blocks out a certain spectrum of light. And I'm like, what in the shit is this?
wait, quick question. Did the White Room come into the TV show?
Yes, it did.
Yes.
In the
Okay.
very last episode.
Right, okay.
Oh, something I want to mention about that. That point in the comic, that was the first time Mark met Cecil.
Oh wow, was that late?
Yeah, it was after his father beat the crap out of him.
Damn, that's late.
I'm pretty sure there was a time before that.
No, it was after. The
Yeah,
first time Mark meets Cecil. Because
Yeah,
at Mark meets the team, the Guardians of the Globe are murdered at sometime in between that. But it's all paced a little faster. So we don't get Robot as the head of the new Guardians until after Omni-Man leaves. Literally most of this season, everything that happens after Omni-Man has left and beaten the crap out of Mark.
yep.
Yeah,
I think that's done better.
Mark met. Oh, sorry. Yeah, Mark met the assistant, Cecil's assistant.
Yes, he met
Forget his name.
Crap, I forgot his name too.
Um,
Robert?
yeah, yeah.
Which is
Robert?
weird. Which is weird. It's like I like that guy.
Mr. Nuke.
Yeah. Also, I don't think he blew himself up in the comics at that point. I don't remember.
No, because all the stuff with Omni-Man that happened in the show, like yeah, that's starting with what's his name getting killed. Yeah, in the comics that didn't happen. Well, Omni-Man was out dealing with another thing, and then Immortal just showed up out of nowhere,
Yes.
unbeknownst to anyone. So the guy did not blow up.
Donald. That was the guy's name. Donald. Donald Ferguson.
Yep. Donald Ferguson, the guy who made the biggest sacrifice in that show. He's like, well, if I'm going down, I'm going to try and take out Omni Man with me.
And it's like I've got you by your spine. What are you gonna do? It's been an honor, sir. What are you even talking?
Yep.
Made a mistake looking for pictures of Donald.
Did you get Donald the Duck?
No. I typed in Cecil's assistant, and I got a fan art picture of Cecil being shipped with Donald.
Oh.
It's not like it's not rated X or anything. It's just
It's the internet, dude.
it's shipping. It's not Rule 34. It's just really
Awkward.
uncomfortable. I don't like shipping.
Never count out the internet.
Funny enough, I actually thought that Omni Man's wife, I keep forgetting her name,
Debbie.
Debbie.
Debbie. I always thought that maybe that after the whole thing with this, she might have probably tried to date someone else. But
Oh,
I'm not going to go any further than
Uh,
that because it does spoilers does happen in the comic, which I don't want to discuss right now.
um,
right.
yeah. So we'll leave it off at that.
Yeah.
Also, this all of the stuff that happens after the college stuff, all of that happens when Mark is actually attending the college with William, like attending the college as students. They've already
Yeah.
graduated from high school, matriculated into college. So the fact that
They
they're keeping this high school drama kind of bugs me a little.
Well, I don't know. I assume that they're probably going to do a time skip at a certain point to then have Mark into college at the start of season 2
It's
because
possible, but I think the way that they ended the season is with Mark talking to Alan, and he's like, "Hey, what are you gonna do?" And they flash through all of the villains that are gonna show up,
yeah,
and Doc Seismic with his
his underground army.
yeah, and I'm like, okay, and then he's like, "Oh, I'll finish high school," and I'm like, okay,
So I assume what's probably going to happen for season 2 is probably going to be like the end of high school at the start into college, or they would probably start off where he's already been fighting some of these things since then, and college is happening.
okay, that's possible.
Yeah, that's how I'm looking at it. I'm just like, and but the only difference now is that now some stories which would have happened at this point since after Omni-Man left is not going to be there because they're going to change it up, and I think you might get some more original battles in season 2 that probably wasn't in the comics. Just more as a filler, just to fill up what should have been there.
Possibly, yeah. They
Alan
might,
though is going to be play a more pivotal role in the next season in
of
terms
course.
of who he is, and definitely I would say you're all going to enjoy Alan. If you've never read the comics, you're going to enjoy Alan as a character.
Yeah, Alan's one of my favorite
Yep.
characters in the comic. Oh my gosh, Alan is up
Yeah,
tier.
Alan is the intergalactic replacement for Will. When Omni Man needs a bro in space, that's who Will is
Invincible.
going to
Oh
be.
yeah.
But sorry, Invincible.
Invincible.
When
Yeah,
Invincible goes into space, that's going to be the replacement for William, since William can't live off of Earth.
pretty much. So, Alan the Alien. He literally calls himself Alan the Alien in the comics.
Yes.
I'm like, wait, isn't alien more of a human word? But I don't care. It's whatever.
Technically, shouldn't he be calling Invincible the alien?
I
I
mean,
mean,
he can't be calling anybody an alien because he's an alien to Earth because he's, not a,
well,
a citizen of Earth.
technically, his people kind of are aliens to a lot of the other ones in space because of what happened to them.
Yeah, the Inopins and all of that, whatever. That's what his race is called, and you can see it in the little blurbs in the during the show in Amazon Prime if you watch it like that. But yeah, he basically said that his whole most of his race was destroyed by the Viltrumites, and he doesn't know his father because he was born in a what's it called, a breeding camp.
Yeah, they're basically like I think more artificially grown. I'm born like they have like these pod things that they're born in. If I recall correctly, they're not like actual natural births.
They're not natural births, but they still get DNA from their parents. However,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Enopins breed.
It's basically artificial insemination taken to the extreme, where you do everything outside of actual organic body and just grow them like a fat.
Yeah. So, that's the thing there. Um, I would like to see how they do the coalition of planets in the next season if they start doing that.
I expect they would set it up, especially because since Alan is this, that's definitely he's going to be doing the introduction to that. Season two, what I'm hoping for is, and I hope they don't take a whole other season to do this, is to show Omni-Man again because that is a major plot point in the comic, and I'm hoping that they don't wait till season three to bring back Omni-Man.
That'll be really yucky. That'll probably be towards the end of the season, though.
I expect that. I expect it to probably just end with him seeing the dad, and then season three picks up with that plot. I assume that's probably what they're going to do.
We'll see. It's hard to really figure out how they're going to do it because of the way that they've done it so anachronistically. So it's like
Yeah,
it's just
agreed.
all over the place.
Like honestly, I think that all the villains and stuff that you saw at the end of the season that Mark's gonna have to deal with, I think that'll be the focus. Like on top of preparing for the Viltrumites, they're gonna be also dealing with this, but at the same time, Cecil's going to be looking into those same things. Okay, what can we use? What can we not use?
Yeah. Although I will say this though, and this is much further down the line. This is probably maybe like 2025, 2026, depending on how long this show continues for. The A certain scene, which is in quotation marks controversial, that happens in the
Oh,
book. I'm not sure how they're going to translate that to TV, and how accurate they're going to translate that to TV.
it's probably
Yeah,
yeah. I know what you're talking about. It's not going to be translated to TV. Um, well, it probably is, but in a very very vague way.
I want to see if they if how much they're willing to lead into it.
They're not going to show that happening. It's just we're being really vague, and I feel like it's not fair to just speak vaguely to each other while people are listening. But
I mean, unfortunately, we have to. We don't want to spoil it for you.
yeah,
If you want to understand what we are talking about, buy the comics, read them, support it. I would definitely recommend Invincible as one of the best contain complete stories you could read right now of superhero comics.
yes.
yep. Real simple, beginning, middle, end.
Yep,
Um, so
The middle goes crazy, but yeah,
the middle does go crazy, and the end
it
is
does.
the end is very okay.
The end is
Anyway,
bittersweet. That's how I describe it. It's bittersweet.
yeah.
Yeah.
But anyway, let's talk about that one character we've been prancing around this whole hour and a half.
Yes.
Freaking Amber.
Amber.
Amber, oh Amber, how woke have you come? Amber, oh Amber, did you get a tan?
Bro. Okay. So right off the bat, there's the obvious difference between the comic and the show. Amber was a blonde-haired, blue-eyed, kind of ditzy girl. In the show, Amber was a strong black woman who don't take no crap from no one.
Yep. Except for Mark a few times.
And that bugged me. Because if you're gonna write her as a strong character who doesn't take anybody's crap, keep it consistent. Make sure
Yep.
she doesn't take anybody's crap. So I'm gonna leave this to you, Dracon, because I know you have stuff to say, and I'll come back. Well, I'll be here, but I'll say something after you.
Okay, sure. So my my problems with Amber is the inconsistency of how Amber acts. Um, uh, Amber is someone who is sure what she wants. She doesn't take this kind of crap. And then she knows that Mark is making excuses over and over again for why he's always missing, why he's always showing up late, why he's always this. And she's getting all these chances. I'm just like, this doesn't feel like how she would act in that way though, because she's like, I don't take this kind of crap for anyone. I thought she would have just dumped him early and that would have been it. But she gives him a lot of chances. And then what makes it worse in my view is that she knows that he's a superhero. She doesn't tell him that she knows he's a superhero, and then at the same time, she's blaming him for when he makes excuses to be a superhero. And it just feels like a contradiction in that sense. I understand that you're a teenager, this is a relationship, and one of the big points that they did say from the start is it's hard for a superhero to have a relationship with a regular person because of things like this. And but at the same time, it didn't seem like she tried to make any effort to then tell him, I know this is what's going on. Either be honest with me or you're done. Instead, she just acts up, seems like she's gonna date someone else, but doesn't happen. And then after he tells her why all this is happening, she's like, yeah, I've known. I'm just like, well, if you've known, why are you acting this way? You could have
Yeah,
talked to
it's
him
like,
about it.
go ahead.
Yeah, no, it's like you could have talked to him about it so long ago when you first found out or even suspected that he was a superhero.
Right. It's like pretty much the big moment was when the college was getting attacked by one of the, I looked it up, they're called Reanimen.
Yeah, I'm calling him Cyberman.
Cyberman, it is Cyberman. This is even at this point.
Fine, Cybermen. So it's getting attacked by one of them, and everybody's scurrying, and Mark's trying to, like, just duck out so he can change to be invincible. And when he does, she's like, "Oh, where did he go?" And then he comes in as invincible, saves the day, zips back, comes you know comes in as Mark, and she gives him shit about not being there, but he was there. She knew that it was him.
Yep.
So what exactly is her problem in this moment? Because it can't be the lying, because she's lying too, because she knows,
She's a
and
hypocrite.
Yeah.
pretty much.
She said that her problem was the fact that he was lying to her, but she was also, well, she was lying to him. She said in that scene in episode 7, because I watched it not too long ago.
Mhm.
She said, I've known that you were invincible for quite a few weeks now.
Yep.
And when I think back to quite a few weeks, this was before he got the tar kicked out of him by my boy Battle Beast.
Yes. And you know what? That one he shouldn't even be blamed for because Adamite covered for him and said he was hit.
And she was still mad about it, and she was ready to break up with him. And he was willing to accept that. he was like, I understand. If you don't want to be with me anymore, I'll go. And he's about to walk out the door. And she says, no, it's okay. Let's start over. And that is the point. That is the point where I said, no. She cannot be mad at him any longer if she knows that if she knew at that point that he was invincible, doing all this stuff, especially since he was right in front of her fighting a giant cyborg man who then impaled himself on a thing. But he
To
saved,
protect her. Yes.
right? He protected his best friend. He protected her. And like, first of all, she screamed. If she didn't know who that he was a superhero, she was yelling, "Hey, Mark, do something!" This is before we know that she knows that he's a superhero, and this is when the cyborg is about to attack William or something.
Yep.
So she says, "Mark," and then he disappears. So she knows that he's a superhero, and she's telling him, she's probably telling him to suit up and do something. But is she asking him to do it in front of everybody?
It's
I don't know. It bugged me that she was so aggressive about this one thing.
yep. I mean, and it's one thing if Mark did everything and showed no remorse, but you could tell that there were times when he was like, "Shit, I have to choose saving people over my relationship," and then he's trying his best to try and get back in her good graces, and at this point we know that she knows, and at no point does she ever confront him about it. She waits till he has to come clean for them her to say, "Yeah, no, all those times." Like, really, really?
And the
Uh,
thing is, if she didn't want to be with someone like that, who was lying to her and was, frankly, I'm not gonna lie, he really wasn't the best boyfriend, and that's fair
oh, of course.
because he had his own duties and he couldn't really be in that kind of relationship.
It's
But
that, and it's also a new relationship for him. Like, it's probably like the first one he's
it's his
probably
first
had.
relationship. Let's be real. It's his first relationship. He's like 17, 18, whatever. So he's a goofy kid who just got superpowers and has been learning how to be a superhero, going through all this stuff, and on top of that, trying to be a good boyfriend to her, which he can't do, which is fair. But she knows what she wants out of a relationship, and she lets it continue instead of saying, "Hey, I can't do this anymore. Goodbye."
Yep.
You know what?
Even though he begs her. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, what really bugged me
Mm-hmm.
after the whole thing with his dad, she shows up at the house. Oh, I'm so sorry. Starts kissing him, and I'm like, what?
Right? Oh my
What are you?
god!
Yeah.
What
Yeah.
are you in all
To
this?
be to be fair though, and I would say this to be fair, they're following the comic with that.
They are following the comic, but if they want to change the character from who she was in the comic, stay consistent. Amber in the comic
Yeah.
was really passive, and she was kind of goofy. Let's be real.
Yep.
She when she suspected that Mark was wasn't
Omni-Man.
she
Invincible.
didn't suspect that he was invincible. She suspected that he was a drug dealer first. And
Oh,
this
that.
was when they were in college, and this was before the whole Omni-Man thing happened. So it was kind of off to me. And not just that, but it pretty much plays similarly to how it got to be in the comics, where Amber made new friends in college, except that didn't happen in this, but Amber made new friends in college and they introduced her to a different guy. And at one point, they were like, hey, you shouldn't be with this guy. We've never met him and you don't seem very happy with him. And she's like, you know what? You're right. I'll start hanging out with this guy, but innocently. And that pretty much is what happened in the show where she went to that frat party.
Yep.
Because I think the guy had the same name. I think it was Kyle.
I don't remember
I
the
don't
name,
know.
but yeah, it's basically the similar scenario.
I would like to see how that scenario plays out in the show because there's a subplot of stuff that happens with Amber.
The subplot is that you got broken up, you had your chance to get with Adam Eve after that, and you went back to her.
Yeah, yeah,
Like he was in the clear because she broke up with him. He was like, okay, well, I know I'm in love with Adam Eve because you can tell at certain points in that he was really trying to be with her.
yeah. But also, they're both awkward teenagers and say
Oh yeah.
stupid stuff. So Evil's like, "Oh, that'll never happen," in front of Mark, and Mark is like, "Oh, okay, that'll never happen. So I might as well just turn my attention to Amber." And then Rex has a foursome with Duplicate, and Evil's like, "Well, nope, Rex is a jerk."
Well,
I'm
I mean, who, who's dumb enough to do that in at a place where you work? If everyone knows the famous quote, you, you you don't shit where you eat.
Yeah, don't dip your pen in
Yeah.
company ink. Don't eat the boss's cake.
So don't have sexual relations with another team member in a public area where all your team will normally be.
Especially if you're dating a separate member of the team.
Yep.
Yeah.
Jeez. I don't even know how Rex thought that would work. And I know we're going to get more backstory for Rex later. And it's going to, guess, make him seem a little better. But he still sucks at this point.
Oh yeah, he does. He's literally just not to mention his first interaction with Monster Girl.
Yeah, it played out exactly the same as in the comics.
His ass getting whooped.
Yep.
I do not like that when Invincible stepped in, someone said, "Oh my god, he hit a little girl." Bro, that little girl turned into a giant monster and almost killed someone.
I laughed at that because at that point everyone thought that she was actually a little girl. We found out later on, oh, she's just aging backwards because of her ability.
Yep.
Which makes dating for her impossible, or possible with the wrong kind of people.
Well, yes, because it takes a guy who's technically her same age physically to then take a kid body to be with her.
Yeah.
How old is Rudy?
Rudy should probably be
Rudy's
close.
30,
Yeah,
and
and
she's 20 something. She's in her
yeah,
20s,
so
so it's
close.
okay.
Yeah, close in age.
Which,
But
Like I said,
also,
which is like,
he's still attracted to her, so that's kind of sus. I don't know.
well,
yeah,
no,
but it's like,
He's attracted to her because of her situation, being trapped in a form that she doesn't like, and he was also trapped in a form that he didn't like.
not to mention they're both on borrowed time because it's only a matter of time before either she becomes too young from her abilities and or he just dies from his deformities.
Right. So he did the thing where he cloned Rex and and used that as his new vessel.
Yep. And now his goal is to save her from what curse that she has.
I do like that they show how manipulative Robot is.
Yes.
yeah.
And it's foreshadowing for future seasons.
Oh goodness, is it foreshadowing?
And I like that. I like that it doesn't come on the left field. You could tell from the start that Robert has a set goal, and he would do whatever it is to achieve that goal, even if that means he goes against everyone else in his own team.
Yep. Look at what he did to release the Mauler twins.
Yep, a lot of innocent people just died or got trapped because of that.
Then when he got them to do the job, he gave them a faulty. He paid them, with a schematic for some kind of control collar. The schematic was faulty.
Yep.
And so, yes, and because of that, Immortal was able to get up, but also, get back in action
Hey,
immediately.
at least Immortal didn't kill them.
No, he was already too blind with rage. He already knew. As soon as he came back, he was like, "I need to go after Omni-Man." I don't know why he went after somebody who's already able to chop his head off, but he had to
He
try.
at that point he was just blind rage. He wasn't thinking straight.
Yeah. In the comics, Omni-Man got the drop on them, so I think in those same comics, he thought he could like okay, in a straight up fight, or at least I get a drop on him, I could take him. He was horribly wrong.
Yeah, it
In
was
the
so bad. It was like a page where he just stuck his hand in him, and now there are two halves of an immortal.
Like
And
literally.
and two halves make an asshole. Oh hey Mark.
Oh my lord.
I mean, the immortal was a massive jerk in the comics.
Yes, he was, is, and ended as.
I mean, he ended is a funny
Evil.
word. He's not evil. He's just a jerk. But
Yeah.
At a
he's
certain
also
point,
immortal, so he
he's
will literally outlive everybody.
that's how it is. I mean, he's probably already seen generations of his own kids that grow up, die, and then just have other kids grow up, die, and just continue that whole process.
Oh, he definitely has. He's had a. Oh wait, maybe I shouldn't say anything because I don't remember him saying anything about his backstory. But
We'll find out more about this backstory in future seasons. That's basically how this show's going to set it up.
if I
And it
recall,
was
at this point in the comic, didn't they show him as Abraham Lincoln?
yes.
Okay, that's all I want to know. It has no bearing on the story. I just wanted to know if he was Abraham Lincoln.
Yeah, I forgot about that. Also,
It's like yeah. It's like yeah, he had a backstory, but it was more of like a PowerPoint presentation.
Yeah,
It's
that's
like
exactly what it was. It was a slideshow.
yeah.
yeah,
Although I will say, for anyone who is a fan of Battle Beast, you're going to be waiting a while.
Oh god, you're gonna wait so
yeah.
long. You're not waiting for. You're gonna be waiting for like 3 or 4 seasons.
Yep. So, put Battle Beast on the back burner, like the other characters when season 2 comes out, because you ain't gonna see Battle Beast for a good while.
And then when we see Battle Beast, it's gonna be gone again for quite a while. Not too long, but we're gonna see him again.
Well,
I,
they might change the pacing up. Like, I mean, they could have something, but we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
okay. Now I really know who Battle Beast reminds me of. Battle Beast reminds me of Lobo.
Um. So I want to say something,
Yeah,
but it's spoilery.
That's why I don't want to say more than that. Let's just say Battle Beast follows his own set of rules. I don't care what anyone else thinks.
But Battle Beast also has like his own. He has a specific moral code.
Right, his own set of rules. That's basically what
That's
he
fair.
follows to a T. Like he will ensure that when he's fighting you, you are if you are at disadvantage, he's gonna put himself in a similar way because he loves the thrill of a battle, a fair battle.
I want to talk to you about that, but after this podcast because there's some stuff that frustrated me. Oh boy! But I guess that's good enough. Anyway, let's talk about stuff we can talk about on this podcast. I think I'm done with Amber. I just
Everyone is. I really think that she was
wrong scene.
written to be probably worse than she's probably the character that's written deliberately worse than her comic counterpart in an attempt to make her more woke. Yeah. It's literally the definition of a character being written more woke and ended up being worse than the original character that she was.
yeah.
I agree. I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah, it
That's all I'm gonna say on Amber. At this point, you've heard everything that everyone says about her. It's like, what was she as bad as what everyone says? It depends on how you view her. Did she do some stupid stuff or some scummy stuff? Yes.
I know a lot of the hate is. It's a really weird argument that I've been seeing online. Actually, like there are people who are like, Amber did nothing wrong. It was Mark who was just a terrible boyfriend, and he has all of the blame in this.
Nope.
And he shouldn't have just strung her along for 5 months, which is what a lot of the characters said in the show. And I'm like, but if you didn't want to be with someone who she knew was lying, why didn't she break up with him?
Not to mention his identity as a superhero is one of the biggest secrets that he has. He has to be really sure about who he's dating to even give that information out.
Right. And if something happens and she's just angry with him, will she spill this information to an enemy?
Yeah. That's the, oh, if they have a bad breakup, she could easily spill information. And I think that that's part of the reason why I understood where Mark was coming from. It's like it's a big secret. It is something that will basically that if your enemies found out, your family could be in danger. Thankfully, your dad is basically you on steroids, but your mom is not, and your mom goes to work. They can catch her at her job, and you could lose your mom because you gave information to someone else.
Right. On top of that, there's already a connection between Amber and Titan.
Oh yeah, the soup kitchen.
Yes.
Yes.
So I mean, even if he doesn't go there anymore because he's the boss of the criminal underworld in that city, it's it's he still keeps his ears to the streets because he wants to protect the little man. That's Titan's thing. He may be a criminal, but he's a Robin Hood essentially. He's
Mhm.
like he's more of a noble thief, a noble crook.
Well, I mean, he also wants to put himself in a position of power so he can do what he needs to as well. So, not all that noble, but
I
still.
mean, for the most part, he said he wanted to make this city a better place for the little man. But also, he wants to look out for number one. And by number one, he means his wife and his child,
Yep.
who didn't exist in the comics, by the way, but that's cool.
I was happy with that change. It gives him more of a backstory as to why he is how he is.
Yes, he was in debt. He borrowed money from the robot face man, Autotune man. I don't remember his name. His name is Mr.
I
Autotune.
I
Okay,
think it's
okay.
Metalhead. I think.
T
I
Pain.
can't swear
We
to that.
calling him T Pain now. That's it.
Yes, I was not thinking about that. His name is T-Pain.
I
I'm
feel
going to grind you up and make you make and sorry, I'm gonna grind you up and make you my driveway.
it
I'm
was
on a
just
boat and I'm traveling fast.
it was goofy that they gave him auto tune. And I don't remember the boss in that at that point in the thing, but I don't remember him being a robot head guy.
I think they changed it up a bit for the TV show.
That's fine, but whatever.
I
He
was
takes down that boss. He gets his thing. I also noticed something in the prison before the Mauler twins left. Before the Mauler twins were broken out by a robot.
Mhm.
And you see a man with multiple clones of himself. And I just want to say, he plays a slightly bigger role than that scene later on.
Yes, and he maybe relates to the same person that you already know.
I mean, it's pretty obvious who he's related to,
It's
but
pretty obvious who he's related to, but I mean, if they haven't plainly said it yet.
but yeah. So I like the little things here and there that they've done with certain characters like Doc Seismic and
Oh, that
not
one.
duplicate.
Oh gosh,
That guy. The the guy who's like he has like airplane parts as a suit, and then someone threw him into space. And then episodes later, when Mark's like flying around, and you see him there still.
Yeah, the guy who reminds me of the Vulture.
Oh
Yes.
yes. Oh gosh, he died. He dead.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Immortal doesn't care. The Immortal will kill his enemies. And you know what? I like
I'm
that
pretty sure.
Invincible. Hmm?
Oh yeah. Sorry. It's like it was the Immortal in the comics, by pretty sure it was Omni-Man in the show.
No, it was the Immortal in the show.
You sure?
Positive.
Okay, never mind.
Oh man, I'm sorry. The moment when you were like, yeah, it's pretty obvious. I'm just thinking to myself, a certain villain going like beating up Rex. You cheated on my sister with my sister. Ah!
God.
Because at some point she does say that each of them are technically individuals. When they duplicate, they aren't this exactly the same person.
Yeah. So also, well, I can't say it's, but I do like Duplicate's power because at least if one dies, the other one can just
As long as
another.
one survives, they all survive basically.
Yeah.
That's how it is.
So even if the Prime Kate doesn't make it, one of the copies will make it. But also spoilers, so can't say.
Yeah. Oh man, she's the perfect analogy to the superhero version of the Marlowe twins. Her power makes her be able to have duplicates of herself that even if they die, as long as one survives to continue, the Marlowe twins have to create clones of themselves once one of their clones die.
Yep.
It's also like a little. It's also a nice little thing about that X-Men Multiple Man, because they're like these aren't just copies; they're actual people.
Yes.
I mean, like I think Multiple Man has like over the years some duplicates that are they kind of go off and like do their own thing, but it's rare. Like all these clones of duplicate are actually like actively choosing to continue, fighting crime
They're all
and
different
being
Kates.
duplicate. Yes, but they're all making active decision to do that.
Hmm.
Meanwhile, you'll have like one or two multiple men who will just go off script, but it's still technically him, but not. It's weird. It's
Oh
like
man, all the talk of multiple men still reminds me of Venture Brothers.
Oh boy.
I'm sorry, I just went random there. It's just
Oh, it's
that
okay.
tumbleweed.
it's fine. I mean, for anyone who's ever watched Venture Brothers season 7, oh no, season 8, where basically the villain equivalent of multiple man does a job, and the monarch is there as well because they have to steal something. But I'll leave it as that only. I don't know if you love watch Venture Brothers. Hey,
I haven't
back to
seen that
Invincible.
far, but yeah.
Oh, you
actually,
haven't? Oh,
But that's okay. I'll eventually get
actually,
to it.
you know what? I just remembered. Only a few times. It's like only in some volumes of X Men or X Factor is like the multiple men copies actual people. Like sometimes they're actually like cut one open and say like, okay, they're okay. This guy's kind of like a puppet. But in other books, they'll be like, oh no, this one is like it's like he grew up. It's like it's not really consistent with duplicate. It's consistent and hilarious.
That's because for X Force and X Men, they're always different writers for different arcs. So, and Invincible has had the same writers for its whole run.
Yeah.
Also, Duplicate doesn't appear that much in the whole run. Like, she's there, but she's not really that important of a character. We get Mark, who's important. Um, Eve, who's important. Amber's kind of important in the show now. Um, and all the other people, whatever. Rex is
yeah.
someone. Robot's important. Rudy, excuse me.
Oh yeah, Rudy's gonna have more to play in this story going down the line.
I like how Black Simpson was handled. And I didn't know. I sort of thought, but I didn't realize until I looked at like the X-ray stuff on Amazon. It was voiced by Carrie Payton, and that's the voice of Cyborg.
Oh,
Yeah, so that
hmm.
was interesting. His voice was a lot deeper, so I didn't
Hmm.
hear booyah, or I didn't expect a booyah.
If you said Booyah, I would have been salty because his character is too serious for that.
Yeah, no, seriously, he was. I liked him as the so-called straight man of the group because he was the most serious
Well,
apart
yeah,
from Robot.
because I mean, all his previous team died. He was like one of the only survivors of his previous team, which is why, like for him, it's a much more serious gig than other people realize.
And it's only because he didn't have his powers, which is lucky. And I
Yeah,
don't like that they never explained how he lost his powers. Because that's something I've always wondered what happened for him to have lost his powers. Even in the comic, they never explain it. They just say that he lost his powers like a month before the comic had started or something like that. And he's been trying to desperately get back into the Guardians of the Globe. And they
I
rejected
think it
him.
has.
Mhm.
Um, look, I'm really not sure what happened, but uh, during the funeral in the comics for the Guardians, his butler flips out and starts attacking everybody
Yeah, with
because,
with his suit.
yeah. So maybe it has something to do with them.
They said that there was an incident when they were fighting a villain. That's all. That's the vaguest thing I've ever heard in my life. So I'm like, can you expand on that? Maybe they'll give him more backstory in season two. Like, I would prefer that they do something about it, and like instead of constantly mentioning that he lost his powers, especially from someone like Rex. Who cares about what Rex has to say? But whatever. Just give me that backstory. I want to know why he lost his powers. Tell me why this guy got kicked off the Guardians of the Globe, how he lost his powers, and how he gained them back. I understand that the trauma of Battle Beast being there, eating him to a pulp, brought his powers back. But why?
because
I
Battle Beast is
understand.
that awesome. It,
No,
it,
Battle Beast is the best.
uh, oh man, I mean, I will say, Battle Beast is just the perfect tease. It's like, hey, you like Viltrumites? Hey, you like someone who can beat Viltrumites? Well, here's the
Battle Beast.
tease. You're gonna be teased for the next good number of chapters.
Yep.
I saw it happen, and I was like, oh snap! He beat the fudge out of him.
Oh yeah.
Like in the comic, not the show. I already knew that was going to happen because
It, in the show, it was just a massacre.
yeah,
But if the best way to describe Battle Beast is like if I was watching Mortal Kombat and it was close to a flawless victory.
oof.
Literally, they got a few knocks in, and Battle Beast just like that's it, wham.
Pretty much.
Picture of Battle Beast.
See what sucks? The the new Guardians tried to rally together. Like it was gonna be like a whole like, oh yeah, big team meeting moment. They go all together now. Yeah. And then Bobby just kicks the shit out of everybody.
I mean, think of it this way: it was a reflection of what happened to the old team against Omni-Man. So I was expecting it.
Like, Billy bitches, it's like your camaraderie means shit to me.
That's literally how it is.
Yeah, I mean,
The power of friendship does not save you every time.
anime
It
lied to
can,
all of
but
you.
it can, but not against Battle Beast.
uh,
Battle Beast was amazing. Holy crap!
yeah.
I didn't know so many people had fan art of him. Jesus Christ!
Well, I mean, he was that awesome. Showed up for like half an episode, kicked ass, and left.
Yep.
A true
I,
tease.
I still want to know how they were able to hire Battle Beast at all.
Yeah, they probably coaxed him to that side with promises of a good fight.
Yeah, but
Like,
where did you meet Battle Beast though? Because it's like
hold up. Sorry. It's like, okay, so he came to Earth the same reason why Alan came to Earth, because of the Viltrumite. So he came to Earth to find the Viltrumite, and then he meets Metal, whoever, who promises him a
T-Pain.
good fight. Yes, and that's why it's like that's why he was on Earth at all, to find the strongest.
okay, that's understandable. And then when he beats Mark, he's like, "Well, I'm bored."
It's like that was a Viltrumite. I waste a lot of time. Shit, I'm out.
Yep.
There's our battle beast.
Like I said, you can mistake Battle Beast for being a little bit female from how this body looks in the first thing, and then when Battle Beast starts looking like, oh, it's fully male.
Yeah. Don't get it twisted.
You know,
I'll
I was
twist you.
when I saw Battle Beast the first time, I was thinking Big Barda.
That's fair because of the color of the armor.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
why I thought Battle Beast is also female because it's like, is this a Big Barda reference? And then it's like, nope, Battle Beast is Battle Beast.
Goodness gracious. Love me some battle beast. That's the only reason why I was watching. I really just wanted to see the scene with Battle Beast, and I was like, I want more of this.
Yeah, well, you're gonna have to wait a while.
Like, I didn't even care about the scene where Nolan beat the crap out of Mark. Like, I knew that was going to happen. I knew this was going to happen. And I've already seen all the stupid memes that people were making of it. So at this point, like, I had already
Uh,
seen that scene.
oh man, that was meme central when that came out.
I can hear the voice. Think, Mark, think. I don't want to hear it. I don't care. I don't care about what he has to say.
Your mother was like a pet. Okay. Like,
Yeah, that part. Everybody, when people were discussing it, and I was like, "Oh, I can't
So
say
so
anything."
so my problem with that statement was that it was a bit more disturbing when you said she's like a pet. So does that mean that you like having sex with your pet?
There's a lot to say about that because in the comics they were basically having sex all the time,
You see it?
yeah.
as opposed to the show where they're very lovey dovey at the beginning,
Oh yes, and then Mark is like, "Can't you all wait till I leave?"
and then it's like, "Oh no, they're never gonna touch each other again because Debbie suspects that her husband has murdered 7 people."
I wonder if Debbie was like, "Phew, he's not cheating on me, but he murdered people. What?"
Probably.
Oh man.
Oh my gosh, that was I. Hmm.
So overall, I think in the interest of ending this, since we are already over 2 hours,
Yeah.
Invincible TV show, we've liked it. Invincible comics, we like it. Amber, no.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna say it like this. I liked Amber a little bit up until episode 7,
Yeah.
and then everything she did was retroactively bad to me.
Yeah, and then
They,
made even worse by her action in 8.
it's like their relationship could have been a nice little contrast to like the Superman Lois relationship, where when you think about it, Superman was actually lying to Lois for years when they were just like even barely knew each other. Then they started going out, but then you find out that she knew the whole time, and now Amber just looks like
But Amber didn't know the whole time. She only knew for a few weeks. But the
yeah,
few
but it
weeks
was
that she did know was the time when she was the most volatile in the relationship.
right.
And that's what makes it bad. Like, she was already saying he was on thin ice before that. Like, when she had to have dinner when they had to have dinner with her parents. She didn't know at that time, but she knew when Battle Beast beat that booty because like she says it like a week or so later when they're making up that when they're about to go to the college or whatever, let's go to the college and do this, blah blah blah. And then after that, she's like, I've known for like 3 weeks, or whatever she said. I'm like, bro, hold up. So you've known for most of this time because this takes place over about 6 months or so, and that's okay. It's not okay because he lied.
He's out here dying to save people's lives, and you're mad about being lied to.
Like I
Amazing.
don't know. It's okay to not want to be lied to. And it's
Yeah,
okay to not want to be in a relationship with somebody who's lying to you, no matter what the reason is. But if you don't want that, why not break up before instead of waiting for him to confess this? He can't read your mind, and at the same time, I understand she's like a teenager and she's also stupid, but she's also written to be really competent, really smart. Because the next episode, she's like, it doesn't take a genius to realize that Omni-Man was your dad. Like as soon as she gets there and hugs him and kisses him, which angers me a lot, she just says, "Hey, they said that your father died in the explosion. It doesn't take a genius to figure out that it was Omni Man." I'm like, where was this logic an episode ago where you were mad at him for lying to you, but also saving your life? I don't know. I don't want to beat a dead horse until it's pulp. So let's just. We like the show. We don't like Amber's characterization after a
Yeah.
certain point, and we hope that things get better. As far, I hope for more consistency when it comes to writing certain characters.
Hey, I mean, I don't mind if season 2, episode 1, she gets dumped and that's the end of it.
To be
Oh,
honest, yeah, I feel the same.
kind of like Kick-Ass. Oh, like it's like you see this whole fucking movie is about getting this girl. Next movie, done with you. Done with you too. All right, great, wonderful, and then fuck off. And that's it. It's like bring that actress back just to dump him.
I mean, didn't they do that in Thor as well?
Not really. Like they didn't technically break up.
No, like at the end of the second movie, they were like super strong relationship together because they went through all of that stuff with the ether, and then the beginning of the third movie, oh yeah, she dumped me.
Oh yeah.
It literally feels like Thor.
Well, that was a very good and fun episode. I think that's it. Anything
Not
else?
much else to talk about for this season.
Yeah. So that's it for this episode. Thank you to everybody who showed up.
Yes.
Thank you
Thank
to
you,
the
Katie.
lurkers, and thanks, Katie. Go back to playing Minecraft, nerd.
And remember, if you have a filter mite infestation, don't forget to call 1-800-BATTLE-BEAST.
I got stuff to say about that, but after this. All right, everybody. I hope y'all stay dope. Make sure you hydrate. Eat a decent meal.
Wash your ass.
Where did that come from?
Yeah.
Yeah, we're done.
Yeah, we're done.
Bye, everyone.
Bye, everybody.